Hi, my name is Shaizia Jifri, and I'd like to talk about my branding as an illustrator. I recently created a brand called Silly Billy. Now you're probably wondering why Silly Billy? Well, you've all been called a Silly Billy before, and that really is the nature of my work. I don't think there's anything such as a serious illustrator. We all are a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and my work definitely leans towards the more quirky. So I wanted something that spoke for that. And I also wanted something that speaks for this sort of dual world that I have to constantly traverse. I live in Mumbai, which till recently was known by everybody as Bombay. I still call it Bombay, as do a lot of people that live here. But it has become Mumbai officially. So there's this duality to the city that I live in, as there is a duality in the life that I have to live. I was brought up with a very Western education and taught Western ways of thinking and Western ways of doing things, dressing. But at the same time, I have a very traditional side to my life, which is traditionally Indian. And that way of thinking is also very much a part of me. So I am constantly having to negotiate these two worlds. Now, the word Billy in Hindi means cat. And I have two cats. And in fact, that's where the idea came from. I happened to be sitting on my bed one day, and one of my cats, Valentino, who is a white and black cat rather than a black and white cat, happened to come up and put his head against a pair of glasses that were resting on the bed. And that's where I got the idea from, because I thought, oh, you're such a silly Billy. And then it struck me that's exactly what I was looking for. It had all the quirkiness of what I wanted, and plus it had this wonderful influence of my cats. I like to think of myself in a sort of Edward Gorey type way, where my cats do influence my work quite a bit. In fact, once in a while they do actually help me out a little bit by brushing against my pen and causing things to happen which are most unexpected. So Silly Billy really evolved from this. So it has this play of words which speaks of East and West. It had something of my cats, and it also had this quirky tongue-in-cheek nature. But that was just the starting point. Now I had to create a look for my branding. And at first I thought, okay, what is silly? Now I have this idea of a cat with glasses, but where do I go from here? So then I started to play with different cats with glasses. But I realized that just a cat with glasses doesn't speak for myself as an illustrator. I had to add something more. What do I add? Is it a pencil? Is it a pen? But there's no flow, there's no feel for the kind of work that I do. Then I came up with the thought of maybe I should try a paintbrush. And that's how Silly Billy really evolved into this look of a white cat with a paintbrush in its mouth, creating a pink swirl around it, and wearing a pair of blue glasses. And I really think that speaks about the work that I do. I then started to put this branding onto various things. First I began just with visiting cards, but I found that maybe I wanted to go a little bit further, because if I gave people things that had my branding on them, I didn't just want it to be a visiting card. I wanted to be able to give people all kinds of things that made them think of Silly Billy, and then thought, oh, that's rather nice. Maybe this person does more than just creating illustrations on paper, and maybe these illustrations can be used in different places. So I started to actually use the illustrations in various ways. I put them on mugs, as you can see. I put them on mouse pads. I put them on keychains. I put them, of course, on my visiting card and my letterhead. And I continue to experiment and use Silly Billy in different ways. So I actually have different sorts of merchandise that I can give to people. And this also speaks about the work that I do, because I don't purely print my work onto paper. I do use it in various places. And that's really what Silly Billy is. It isn't something that you can box in. It isn't something that you can just define very easily. It is about a world that has lots of influences and a meeting place for all of those influences.